welcome back to On the Collector with me, Jace. And yeah, I was asked this question. I'll put it up here so you can see. I was asked this question, it was a few weeks ago now, and I've been meaning to get around to do this video. I'm running miles behind on so many things, so you're just going to have to be patient with me, guys. But yeah, I was asked this question, and I wanted to answer that, but I wanted to do, because I did do a video about 6-7 months ago where I did sort of delve into my attraction into dark, sinister things, but somebody asked me this question, and I thought what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer it, but I'm going to go much more in depth with it and sort of delve into it a little bit more. As this means going sort of into sort of very nostalgic things for me. I've been upstairs this morning taking lots of photographs and pictures of things that I've got. This is going to be quite a sort of an in-depth video where I get into this anyway, into this subject and answering this question. And because I've been upstairs and doing a bit of filming up there, I have been into the cabinet of collectibles, so I'm going to shove this in that section and not do this as a vlog, as I said to that person I would do. So that's where this is going. Anyway, that explained, let's get into it. I've been thinking long and hard about where does this stem from? Where does this love of dark, sinister characters and creatures and monsters come from? And I think I can trace back to certainly the first thing that I can remember. Now, when I was at primary school, I used to sit at the back of the classroom because I wasn't very good at school. And there was an alcove next to me, and in this alcove there was some sinks, like where you used to clean your paintbrushes or whatever. But in this alcove there was a poster, and this poster was of like Greek mythology, of creatures and monsters from Greek mythology. And I used to sit there staring at this poster, completely fascinated by it. I was mostly just drawn into it, into this dark, sinister poster, and I can remember I desperately wanted to have this poster. Never did own it, especially that gazing face of Medusa. And incidentally, I don't think I've ever said to her, she is like one of my all-time favourite characters from mythology, from fantasy, whatever. Medusa, I think she's absolutely fantastic. And I do actually have a small bronze statue upstairs of her, which was actually bought when we were in Rhodes by an ex-girlfriend of mine. It's upstairs in my bedroom. Yeah, but I'd love a really great statue, especially like a Ray Harryhausen one of her from Clash of the Titans. Remember the Ray Harryhausen one that the film Clash of the Titans? But this was the first thing I can remember, because I'd have been about 4 or 5 years old at that time. And obviously I grew up with, as I said in the previous video I did on this subject, I grew up with the Ray Harryhausen films. So there was the Sinbad films, and obviously there was the all-time classic Jason the Argonauts, and of course it had my name in it as well. So I can remember I was totally adored that. In the early days of doing these, there wasn't, that I can remember, anything you could really go and have. There weren't really toys that I can remember with these sort of monsters in there particularly. I mean, certainly some of my earliest toys that I can remember came from westerns, because I loved westerns as well as at an early age, and I still to this day love westerns. But yeah, I mean, I can remember having the Lego did a whole western town. And I was very young when I had that. I'd have been about 5 years old, maybe 6 years old when I had that. There also, a couple of years later, I can remember I had the Playmobil, Western Playmobil sets. I can distinctly remember the stagecoach that I had. And obviously, a lot of this altered in 1977 with the release of Star Wars, and my love of sci-fi was ignited there. Say, round about 78, 79, Dungeons and Dragons exploded onto the scene. I was drawn into the fighting fantasy novels. I think I've spoken about these before, which I absolutely adored them, and I was totally absorbed by them, because these were books that you could play on your own. They were for sole play. And science fiction thing for me, where I was collecting a lot of the Star Wars figures, and there were Star Wars books and things I read, but at the same time I got sort of towards the end of the 70s, certainly start of the 80s, the only comic I got that I really was absorbed by was 2000 AD. And again, we'll have a look at 2000 AD when we go upstairs, because I've got a huge amount of those, so we'll sort of delve into them. But again, I was really pulled in by the incredible artwork and everything else that was involved with 2000 AD. So the science fiction side there, I was drawn into that. But again, you know, even now as an adult, I look back and the things that stand out for me was the character Slaine, who, again, that's the fantasy. with, you know, characters like Judge Dredd, who's very much an anti-hero, very much an anti-hero. But even there, you know, I loved the, you know, you had the Judge Death, who I just love. I mean, I'd love to get those characters, and I've done this before, and characters and statues I'd like to see done with. So that's where the core, when I talk about nostalgia, for me, it's always been going back to a very, very early age. So the age of 4 or 5 years old, it was always monsters and mythology. It was science fiction. You know, a bit of Western thrown in there as well. Think of nostalgia. When I think of the things that influenced me when I was a kid, it's always been the fantasy and the sci-fi. And I've always been drawn to the dark elements of those. So let's go upstairs. Let's go upstairs anyway. I'm going to take you through some of the bits and pieces I've got up there. I'll give you a quick update on what's going on in the cabinet. I'll be honest with you guys, it's not much, but there may be 1 or 2 bits and pieces in there that I've not shown. Well, there are. And yeah, so we'll go and do that. We'll have a quick look up there, and then we'll come back down here and we'll wrap this video. Okay, so this is my 2000 AD collection here, which I'm not exactly sure how many progs I've got. So in completion, I've got 200 going through in these boxes here, all the way up to that one there, which is prog 700. I've not read any of these, which is a bit of a shame, because, I mean, here, for example, Judge Death, obviously one of my favourite characters. Here we've got the end of the Slaine King story, which I desperately need to read. That artwork here by Beasley himself, one of my favourite artists for 2000 AD, along with Brian Boland and obviously Glenn Fabry as well. I've got some more modern editions here. These are from 2015, where I had a bit of a phase of buying 2000 ADs again, but I just found I couldn't get back into these new modern ones. I preferred the vintage stories. A couple of Judge Dredd ones there. Got some of the really old ones here, really, really old ones. I think these are the earliest ones I've got. This one is Prog 6 from April 77. These aren't complete. This one here starts at Prog 35. So yeah, I've still got to complete these early ones, going all the way up to Prog 200. But say 200 all the way up to 700 is absolutely 100% complete, and I am in the process of reading them. I've read all these. These were the ones I had as a kid in these 2 boxes. And then here, it was round about sometime around here when I stopped collecting them as a kid, but I've been reading through some of the storylines, and I've been continuing to read these now. And then obviously I've got all these here as well to read, but I need to get bags for these and get them all boxed up to protect them as well. So yeah, so that's one area of nostalgia for me. Not showing you in here, I don't think. Now this is a lot of nostalgia in here. A lot of nostalgia. Not to mention whatever might be in the top, but I don't know. So I mean, looking at some of the books here, I mean, there's got The Hobbit back there. Some of them are World of Warcraft books from when I was gaming on there. Some more 2000 AD. There's Judge Dredd there. DR and Quinch book in here somewhere. I was mad on the X-Files in the 90s. There's a lot of X-File books there. A couple of Beano albums at the back. Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World. I must have read that book more times than any other book in my collection. Absolutely loved that. I've now got the DVDs, which I've watched to death. Coming down, obviously got a bit of Lego there. But books of my childhood, which I absolutely adored. I've had to rebuy a lot of these because I lost all my original ones, which were the Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson fighting fantasy books. And I mean, I used to spend hours playing these. There's the Steve Jackson sorcery ones on the end there, which had the beautiful artwork by John Blanche, which I absolutely loved. Because I had no one to play Dungeons and Dragons with, I used to play these for hours and hours and hours. I mean, the original ones there, the first one I ever had was the Forest of Doom, which you can see there, which the cover illustrator, well, one of my favourite artists, Ian McCaig, did the cover illustrations. Also the one next to it, City of Thieves, he did the cover, and Ian McCaig did all the illustrations inside of that one as well. 2 of my favourites there. Obviously the first ones, which Warlock of Firetop Mountain, Citadel Chaos, love them 2 books. Death Trap Dungeon as well, that was another book I played to death. Talisman of Death was another one I can remember, and Crypt of the Sorcerer. These were 2 books that I played over and over and over again. Dead of Night, I think that was another one that I played absolutely loads. Dead of Night that's the one where you were a demon hunter, I think, and Night Dragon as well. I think that one was fairly unique because for most of the book you've got 2 or 3 companions, if I remember it rightly. And as I say, the Steve Jackson sorcery ones at the end, which I absolutely loved. Some more sort of paranormal stuff here because I'm kind of into that a little bit as well. Coming down, couple of Star Wars figures that I've bought vintage. These are graded as well. I want to buy all my old Star Wars collection back. Everything's on hold at the moment while I do other projects. This is why so many of the things I'm doing, it's not that I've forgotten, guys, it's just that there's so much stuff queued up. Recently got into manga, so there we go. Berserk, read 4 so far. My Judge Dredd collection not done too well. I've only got 2 of the case files there. There's loads now. Now a load more gaming stuff there. Horizon book, which I really didn't need to buy. And loads of Legends of Zelda ones, which is like my all-time favourite game. And Star Wars. That's the most recent book I've bought, I think. That was just to give me a price guide for buying these. Coming down, Dungeons and Dragons starter set. A bit of Witch King there. These are miniatures which I bought when I was about 14 or 15. It could have even been younger than that. So these are very old. And I painted these myself when I must have been about 14 when I did them. And I've managed to keep them all this time. These are lead. This is back when they could make them out of lead. And on this level, there's my Lord of the Rings book, which I've had for absolutely donkey's years, which you can see, Unfinished Tales, which I'll be honest with you guys, I've only started. A couple more Warcraft novels. Illidan from Warcraft there, Illidan Stormrage, my favourite character, and a few more Warcraft novels and things across there. A few other paperbacks. Look at the state of that. I've had that since I was, crikey, how old was I? About 18, I think. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. But that's my Lord of the Rings book. I had it for donkey's years. Read it 3 times. Really must read it again. Really must read it again. But there we go. Going down to the next shelf. Well, as you can see, I think I've said it quite a few times that I spent a lot of my life bird watching and birding and twitching as well. So yeah, here's some of my bird books. This is greatly narrowed down from what it used to be. And also some broken bits and pieces from statues. I'll give you a point each if you can tell me where they're all from. I mean, that one's really easy. But can you all tell where the other 3 are from? That broken sword there is quite a famous sword if you know the line. Another broken one there, and a broken arm there. I wonder if you can all tell what those 3 statues were. Finally, we're into the cabinet itself. So I think I've been over these before, but yeah, we've got some Court of the Dead there, lots more Warcraft novels, a lot of Star Wars bits and pieces here, and Lego as well. Look at that, Marvel. Oh, I've got a Marvel book, some Legend of Zelda stuff, Court of the Dead again, and then going up into the cabinet itself. I bought a Funko Pop. But that's that. It's die-cast metal Darth Vader one. I just thought it was kind of collectible and all that, so I just randomly bought that. I don't know how much of this stuff, I can't remember what I did. Coming up into the Lego Star Wars stuff, so we've got the Dagobah Swamp, still not built that Emperor's Throne Room one there. Going up into the Endor, American Werewolf London, I absolutely love that. Look at that artwork, that is fantastic. Love it. Horrible Game of Thrones piece, I'm going to show it you. Coming down, what else have I bought? So I bought that City dust cart. Now, I bought that, guys, because I work at a waste burner site and we get dust carts coming in, and I just thought that looked really, really good. I'm not going to build any of these. Most of these sets in here aren't going to be built. Got some brick heads there. That one's mine. And then I've got the Aragorn one. I've actually bought that for my friend for when she comes to stay when we go to Comic-Con. So that's for her. So Lydia, if you're watching this video, I've just kind of ruined the surprise, but I think you knew what you were getting anyway. So that's for Lydia, that's not for me. One of the most recent Lego buys I bought was the... I thought I'd get into the Jurassic Park line. I don't think I'm going to build this. I'm going to keep it in the box. So these Jurassic Park sets, really expensive. Really expensive. I've also got some Harry Potter as well. I don't know if I showed you this. So yeah, I got some Harry Potter there as well. Again, I'm not building this. And This was actually free. This came free with one of my Lego orders. So the only other thing in here which I've not shown you is I got this, which I'm not opening. I don't know if I've shown you this. It's the Mini Epic Witch King. Well, I bought both Witch Kings, but this one came limited edition. So yeah, there's that one. So that's how it stands at the moment in the old cabinets. As you can see, I really have done bugger all. So I do apologise. But that's where we are. So there we go. So you've had a little look now into my other little cupboards and things that I've got, and I've not even. There's a load of stuff in the top, guys, which I've got. I'm going to have to get the ladder in at some point and see what's up there. I dread to think what's up there. And yeah, so I hope that's kind of answered the question anyway of where my love comes from, and it's shown you that it's always been there through my life, and obviously it's where I am now, and I'll always be someone that's drawn into the dark and the sinister and the creepy and the eerie, but not necessarily the horror. I've never been a massive fan of horror, ironically. It's always been the dark, sinister, the creepy, the Scooby-Doo haunted house on the hill, you know, with the dead tree outside and owl perched in it. It's that creepy eeriness that I love. It's that dark, sinister that I love, that unknown. That eerie, I mean, just the word eerie. I love the word eerie. It's that, and that's where my heart and my passion lies. So I hope that's answered the question anyway for you. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. I have got so many videos to do. Whenever I come up with an idea for a video, or there's a video I need to do, I tend to sit quickly and just do a quick rough thumbnail, and then I just store that on my phone, and it's from. And literally, when I was doing the pictures for this video, I was just scrolling through some. I've got 5 thumbnails. 5. Those videos I was supposed to do while I was off, and I haven't done one of them. But done a lot of live streams. I think I've done 6 live streams in 2 weeks, and obviously there was my training video, so I was training for a full sort of 10 days prior to me doing that. So it's been a little bit. That's why I'm behind, and I'm massively behind. So there's several videos coming up. There's things that are ongoing, and to the person that asked me about the Balrog base, yes, I assure you I will be sending that off to Ireland. It will be painted when I get round to it. Obviously everything's been shoved back with the tarantulas coming back on the scene. That's pushed everything back by a couple of months at least. So these things are all in line, and they will all be done. Please be patient with me, guys. I will get round to doing them, and it's the same with the thing with the cabinet and all that. There's just a lot going on at the moment, guys, but I do it when I get round to doing it. You're just going to have to be patient. So anyway, there we go, guys. If you've enjoyed the video, really would appreciate you clicking the old like button, and anything at all that you want to ask, shove it in the comments below. If you've got any questions, anything you'd like me to do in future videos, just shove it like that guy did. Shove it in and I'll do a video on it, guys. More than happy to accommodate that. If you're new, you haven't done so already, really would appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. That's it for me in this video. I'm going to go off now, and I'm going to really make an effort to bang out a couple more videos for you before I go back to work. I've had a lovely couple of weeks off. All good things come to an end, don't they? Like this video. I'll catch you all on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Cheers for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Tra.